Welcome back. Podcast number 3, Hall of Fame. Another 16 guys. I got Erik Detmar with me. You might know him. You might not. Probably don't. Caleb, obviously, back with me again here. We're going to go over the next 16 guys. Smirnoff, again, the choice of drink tonight. Let's get it going with our number 2 versus number 63. And this matchup entices me. Number 2, Brett Detmar. Number 63, Andy Turner. Erik, it's your brother. What you got?
Andy Turner sounds like a backyard baseball character, so that does entice me a little bit because I'm a big backyard baseball fan. If he knows Pablo Sanchez, I'd love to meet him. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Brett here. 2-time champion, 2 years in a row. I mean, can't get much more Hall of Fame than that.
I think the best way to describe this matchup is that Brett's ERA might be lower than the amount of games that Andy's played. So, I mean, from that perspective, we're going to take Brett.
I'm going to fact check that. Andy's played 4 games, and Brett's career ERA is 2.45. So that is correct. And that's in 117 innings pitched. Let me stroke you, Brett. Yeah, correct. That is correct. Both the players I have with me tonight are better than him. And so is Alan. Remember that son of a bitch? I got Brett on this one. This isn't a competition. Let's move on. The winner of that will face, and this is a very interesting matchup. Both these players started this year. Number 31, Garrett Lytle, versus number 34, Wes Ellis. Caleb. Interesting matchup. What do you got?
I'm trying not to be biased. I've seen too much of Wes in Orable and not in Leroy, so it's hard for me to separate the two because if I base it off Orable too, Wes is one of the best players in Orable history. But from Leroy, I think Garrett might have had the better year than Wes. Statistically, what do we got on that?
Garrett played 16 games to Wes's 10. Wes had a better statistical year than Garrett, but less games.
Okay. I'm just going to stay with my boy Wes. If he had a better statistical season, just because it's too close to call. What do you got, Erik?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I feel like better season than people realize, and Wes is with the power hitter that he is and being the Orable star that he is. A lot of people look at him and think like he's a great player, which he is. But I feel like you don't realize how good Garrett is, and I feel like because he came more and still played almost to the same ability as Wes. I'm gonna have to go with Garrett here.
So, some stats for you. And Wes has a lot of slow pitch background. It's not as much fast pitch, and he'll admit to that. In 75 at bats, Wes had 10 homers, 23 ribbies, 29 runs scored. Garrett Lytle in 112 at bats, 17 homers, 7 more, 39 ribbies, 36 runs scored. Wes had a career 6.40 ERA. While Garrett had an 8.87, so Wes a little bit better pitcher, Garrett a little bit better hitter this season. I'm gonna go with Garrett because it was very hard. Garrett came onto the scene without any wiffle experience at all.
Did you say he was very hard?
He was very hard. I love a good Lytle hard. No wiffle experience ever. Wes has had years, right?
Yeah, he's been playing season.
Years. Give credit to Garrett for what he did this year. I take Garrett. Brett, Andy, Garrett, Wes. Who you got, Erik, going to the Sweet 16?
No question, Brett.
I'm going to go with Andy Turner.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, Brett's going to win that. Next matchup, 18 seed, friend of Brett, whose dad is actually friends with Yurko from the radio station, Jake Van Vuren. 18 seed, 47 seed, Seth Campbell, who I'm not too familiar with. Maybe Caleb can help us out. He's an Orable guy. Jake Van Vuren, Seth Campbell, what do you got?
Jake's going to advance here just because he was part of the Sultans who made it to the championship in 2016. And then he's also been a decent player in the league. He comes up with the most ridiculous sayings. It gets kind of annoying. He also has injuries that no one's ever heard of. So, I mean, from that perspective, I mean, he'll show up. He's got a separated toenail or something like that, some shit like that. So I think Jake will advance here. He's more well-known. Seth, if he comes, could be a really good player, and Leroy, he's good and horrible. But I think Seth only played 2 games, so that one's pretty clear cut to me. Eric, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I know nothing really about Seth, but I know that Jake, like you said, he did very well in last year's season, helping the Sultans. And he shows up at times and gives up 25 pitch home runs, and then and then the next inning he'll go 9 pitch, 3 strikeouts in a row. So he's a little inconsistent, but I'm still gonna go with Jake here.
Yeah, Jake's played 51 career games compared to Seth Campbell's 2. Pretty easy to choose that matchup. Jake's been a great guy that, like you said, with his injuries, it's hard getting him out there full time, but I love him. Love everything about him. He always wants to operate every single piece of equipment that I have at the house. I have to take the keys out of my semi when I get home because he will literally drive it around the block, but that's okay. Number 15 seed, and I'm surprised he's this high. Andrew Sitter versus number 50, Elijah Richardson. Eric, do you know Elijah at all?
I do.
And you obviously know Sitter, so let's get your input on them two.
Well, I feel like Sitter's coming from Mexico every time because he's about an hour late every single week, if he makes it. But yeah, and Elijah just showed up out of nowhere. I don't think anyone knows him really. Did he come with his child one time?
I believe so.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a little interesting. We kind of had to tone down the.
Told B to start a daycare. What are we doing? Man, you get Brantley Hartland out there. KJ's new kid. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
But yeah, Sitter, not his best year this year, but in the past I've seen a lot of good things from Sitter. I'm gonna have to go with Sitter in this one.
If there was an award for most digressed player in a season, it would go to Andrew Sitter. He had an awful year this year, he'll admit it, but he had a pretty good year the past few years. Brett's making sexual innuendos in the background, so we love it. Sitter wins. Elijah's still a no-name, but I think he can step into that role this year to be better.
Yeah, I love Elijah that he came. I think there's a future there. I think he's going to be a big part of the next season, but Andrew's obviously a player who effed the out of me this year. Didn't show up, but he's played 46 career games. The guy's got a great career ERA of 4.18 and 64 2/3 pitched, including 122 strikeouts. So Sitter's the guy. I think he's going to win this matchup. So this is interesting. Jake Van Buren, Seth Campbell, Andrew Sitter, Elijah Richardson. One of those guys makes the final 16. Caleb, who you got making the final 16?
I wanted to say I'm going to say Sitter. Sitter is better statistically than Jake. Neither have a championship. Am I right? No.
Neither.
So Sitter moves on for this one. Eric, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely between Jake and Sitter. I'm gonna have to go with Sitter. He just didn't come as much this year, and I feel like that's why he didn't do as well. But he's definitely a better player than Jake. So I'm going Sitter.
I think Jake's gonna win this one. I think Jake's gonna get the vote. He's just that fun guy that everyone likes. And Sitter screwed me this year, so I'm mad at him.
Good point.
8 down, 8 to go. Number 10 seed, Jordan Moselle. Number 55 seed, Colton Evans. Eric, do you know Colton Evans?
I do.
Do you know Jordan Moselle?
I've heard of him, yeah.
Give us your thoughts.
Okay. Well, the only thing I can think of when I think of Jordan Moselle is Hess. So with that in mind, I'm gonna have to go with Jordan Moselle.
Enlighten us about that Hess 2016 moment. Enlighten us.
All right, so this is back in Nationals 2016. Oh, we are going up against Hessfield, probably I think a top 4 team the year before, and Jordan Moselle walks up to the plate like a champ, and I don't know, it was probably first pitch, probably wasn't, but that'd be way cooler. So I'm gonna say it was first pitch. He puts one over the center field fence, and not only puts the ball over, but also the outfielder over the fence, right in front of the Yonkman's parents. It was It was probably one of the most legendary moments in Leroy history, and the egg will forever be remembered in Nationals for that.
Yeah. I think Jordan Moselle moves on strictly because I think Colton Evans actually has struck out more times trying to get Tabitha than he has in Leroy. So there's that. So I think Moselle's going to move on just from that perspective alone. So, Tim, your thoughts?
I second that.
I actually know about that somehow. I coached Colton Evans. Didn't Tabitha friend zone him?
Multiple times. And then moved to Canada and friend zoned him.
Oh, wow. Canada. That's an ultimate friend zone. Colton, he doesn't care about the league anymore. He's done. Fine. So be it. Jordan Moselle has owned a team every year. He's going to own a team next year again. He's a big-time figure of the league. I love him. He's going to win this matchup. So we're going to go to the next one. Mike Feeney and John Enningberg. I don't know anything about John Enningberg. I have zero effing things known about John Enningberg, but Mike Feeney I do know about. Erik knows John Enningberg. Let's hear his thoughts.
I mean, yeah, I liked that John came this year, and his first week out, he had a really good week. I think he had
Mike was a 23 seed. John was a 42 seed. Just to clear that up.
Okay. I think in his first game, he played with the Bombers, my team, and we played the Liners, and we actually gave them a run for their money without Brett.
Right.
So I don't know. That was a pretty big moment. I think he hit a home run in that game,
He did.
and the next game he hit 2. So John really stepped it up playing this coming this season. And then who was the other guy?
Mike Feeney.
Oh, Mike Feeney. Who are the Feenies? Yeah, me too.
Mike didn't. Yeah. Mike was actually good for the Sultans. Wouldn't he have been hitter of the year if he qualified? Yeah.
They actually showed up.
And he actually showed up. Yeah. So I'm going to take Mike over this one. He's done more than John. So.
Mike, I love Mike. Love everything about him. I wish he would have came this year, but he's moved on to bigger and better things, and that's unfortunate. But I'm going to take Mike on this one. He had a couple championship runs. Never won one, but got to there twice. And so Jordan, Colton, Mike Feeney, John Enningberg. Caleb, who you got making the Sweet 16?
Goodness. Oh, Egg. Really easily. Yeah, Egg will move on.
The Egg is a staple to Leroy. There's no way he doesn't move on.
Yeah, I'm going with Egg on this one. 3-way sweep. I hope he makes it. We'll see what the voters say. So last 4 guys of this podcast, 26 seed, 39 seed. This is an interesting matchup. Aaron Barnes is the 26th. Brad Kamstra as the 39. Caleb, what do you got on these two?
Aaron Barnes and Brad Kamstra. Two of the more athletic guys in the league, I think. I mean, they really know how to run the bases, really hand-eye coordinated. I mean, they just do a great job of that. And, I mean, both of them are hitting upper 90s when they pitch. I mean, they're just solid. No. Barnes, everybody thinks that he sucks. And then every time you play him, he does, shockingly good. And you're like, where did this come from? I think he had a better year this year than he had ever. Brad also dicked a few homers against us in the champion. in the first round of the playoffs. So I think that I don't know. I think the people like Brad more. Brad's a more household name. I think Brad will advance on this one.
For me, I'm gonna have to go with Aaron here. Aaron should have been on a team. There's no reason he should have been a free agent. I think he had a solid season, and with teams like the Truckers out there, there's no reason that Aaron shouldn't have been on a team. And I think, yeah, for that, I'm gonna have to go with Aaron Barnes.
Aaron had a great year this year. He came a lot, and I was really encouraged by his season. I think next year he's going to be a big 3 guy for a team, and I hope he keeps coming. Let me give you Brad Kamstra played 19 games last year. Erik, can you guess what his record were in those 19 games?
0-19.
1-18. This guy showed up week in and week out and won one fucking game the whole year.
What game was it?
Probably not with the Truckers. You know what? He played great the second year. I love his commitment. This dude's going to be a fun guy. He's going to be a big time factor next year for somebody. And he's going to get better. He had some good pitches. They were a little slow, but he had some movement. He gets a little movement on it. I'm going to take Aaron Barnes. I'm going to take Aaron Barnes in this one. It's an interesting matchup. I love both of these guys, and we love fucking with them. And it's okay. Don't get mad. The next matchup for me is my fave. Number 7, Tim Wilcher. Yours, MF and truly. Number 58, Joel Mans. Caleb.
Well, I think what you really have to look at this for is not just commitment to the league, but ability to stand up for what you believe in. And when we go and look at Neil Kruzik's wedding and Joel Mans just completely grabbing the ass cheeks of Allie, and Beth telling him that you're done, and he looking at Beth and just saying, "No, Beth, you're done." I think that just really solidified it for me that he's willing to stand up for what he believes in. And you know what? I think that's going to really be tough. You know, you haven't done that much. I mean, league commissioner. I mean, 4 years, pretty much built this around your house, almost risked your marriage for this. So I mean, at this point, I think that would be tough. Maybe Mance takes this. I don't know. We'll see how the people are feeling.
I feel like the lack of Mance being here has actually helped him because he's become a household name around Leroy because of him not coming. We literally named a monkey after this dude, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, I mean, you haven't really helped yourself there, Tim. You should have gotten him to come a little more, and this matchup might be a little easier for you. So.
That's what she said. If I don't win this Sweet 16 matchup, Aaron Barnes, Brad Kench, and Joel Mance. If I don't get through this fucking ordeal, I swear to God, I will quit wiffle ball. So I don't need any more input on you. I'm winning the Sweet 16. We are finished with podcast number 3. Come back for his podcast number 4. We're going to have Brett Detmar on, and he could be playing with a slinky right now. Thanks to Eric. Thanks to Caleb. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you.